Okay, once again, welcome to my channel. Assuming you are new subscriber, new follower, my channel is all about lecturing, teaching basic things, especially on generator, based on generator. So, in my previous description, in my previous video, um, I discussed about generator and uh, about a gear ratio and other things. So in this uh, video, like many people have asked me, how can you increase the voltage of the generator, assuming the speed is constant? How will you increase the voltage? Okay, it's very simple if you understand, because if you didn't understand, it won't be simple. So it's very simple. Like this here is a lotto collitor measure. This here is a stator. Generator stator 950. So this one is stator. This one is modified. This stator here is modified. This stator here is unmodified. uh what they use to modify it is a 0.7 mm, I mean, yeah, 0.7 mm copper, but I decided to use 0.6 mm copper to modify it. Like I stated clearly, I don't make use of aluminum due to some several issues. I stated it that aluminum has a uh, high resistivity. Yeah, it has a high resistance. So aluminum is not good for this project, this renewable project, because it will have more energy losses. Though the only benefit is it has a light weight, because copper has more weight. So in the previous video I display uh, a coil. I want it 100 tons, 100 tons. uh, Aluminum gave me almost 2 ohms, while copper gave me 1 ohms. So which means if you use those two wire to make a generator, aluminum will have a double resistance. So copper is more conductivity. So in this system I want to display, like people, my subscriber have already asked me several that the generator is giving low output. How will they increase it? Okay, this is the step. Number one step you can increase the voltage of generator is by adding more value of capacitor. Let me come over. By adding more value of capacitor. So now let me bring it, pull it off. Let me take it one after the other. This is the lotto. So now this is the stator generator here. It is unmodified. So now if you check here, you will see one, one, two, three. So this is for exciter. Normally they use 0.4 mm to wind it. This is exciter. You can see here. So you come over here, you can see one, two, three. So they choose three slots. They choose three slots. One, two, three. So this tray here is for exciter. Normally the one you connect capacitor. So now if you want to increase the voltage of your generator now, okay, now let me come again. Let me come again now. Let me on my meter. So now it is on ACU volt. Okay, let me put it. I put it at diode, continuous reading. So now when you put it at continuous reading, when you put the two terminal together, it will be my terminal supposed to be zero. Supposed to give me zero. And you do terminal. Yeah. So now it is 0 0. It is 0 0. So now remember it is 0 0. Let me connect it again. It is 0 0. Okay, now let me check the ohms resistance of this exciter terminal. Okay, resistance ohms is 0.8. I mean, resistance ohm is 8 ohms. Okay, now assuming you want to increase the voltage, if you add more turns on this exciter turns, then it may go. Assuming you increase it to it is in 8 ohms. Assuming you increase it and you show 10 ohms, the voltage will increase because when the armature rotates, when the armature rotates, it is the ohms, the general turns determine the the magnetic strength. Okay, another thing I want to display is assuming you are getting 200 volts. This is two capacitor. You can see this is two capacitor. So assuming you put 24 UF capacitor and you are getting 220 volts and you want to get 230 volts, assuming you put this uh, uh, 24 UF capacitor and you want to get more volts, maybe you want to get 230 volts, then what you have to do with it, assuming you don't want to tamper with the winding, then what you have to do is you go for 25 UF or 30 UF. Understand? So this have more value than this. This one is 24 UF, this one is 25 UF. Or you can go for 30 UF. So by doing so, we have more voltage output. Then, like I've already stated clear, there are many ways to increase the voltage, assuming if the speed is constant. There are many ways to increase the speed. Now, number one is either you increase from exciter winding, increase the turns, or you increase it from the main output. So this is the main output. This is the exciter. Exciter, they normally use 0.4 to wind it. So this is exciter. I mean, this is exciter. This is the main coil. So if you don't want to tamper with exciter, maybe you can tamper it, modify the mains, then you can have your output, more output. So assuming what they use in mains is, let's say, 40 tons, maybe for 40 tons each slot, maybe you can use 45 per each slot, or maybe you can add two depending on the voltage you want to have output, you want to get. So this is number one, how you can increase your voltage either by increasing the turns of your exciter or increase the turns of your mains. You can choose one, either you increase from the exciter or you increase from the mains coil. Then another way to increase the voltage of your generator, assuming if the speed is constant, is by one. Okay, let me check the resistance. So remember I told you that this uh, coil here is a 12, this rotor here is 12 volt because it has a 4 diode. So now assuming if you want to have more voltage output, let me check the resistance also of this. Okay, it is 5. So now assuming if you want to have more voltage, remember only this one is 5, then this one is 5, so which means in general it is 10 ohms. There's a continuous ohms resistance. So now assuming if you want to have more voltage, what you have to do is you have to, okay, let me check here. So you can see this is the continuous winding, so you have to lose it, then maybe you can wind something about 20 tons more, which will give you something about 6 ohms. Then when you wind it, maybe 10 tons here, 10 tons here, so that it will be 6 ohm resistance here, 6 ohm resistance here. By doing so, we have increased the resistance. So the benefit of doing so is that in that certain RPM, it will induce more magnetic strength. It will have more magnetic strength, which by in turns increasing the output. So by putting more tons here, it will increase the magnetic strength, and by doing so, it will increase the output. Okay, now I'm done with. Remember, I've already started uh, two methods to increase the output. Then another one is by putting higher microfarad capacitor. By putting higher microfarad capacitor. So assuming you don't want to tamper with the armature, or you don't want to tamper with the coil, maybe you can go for putting high microfarad capacitor. So by putting high microfarad capacitor, then it will induce high voltage. It will induce more voltage to the lotto, which in turn will generate more output. So I have stated the three basic things to increase the voltage. Number one is either you increase from the exciter by putting more turns, or modify it by putting more turns in the stator. In the stator main output, main reading output. So assuming, let me check the ohms resistance in the main reading output. Check my meter. The output terminal. So it is 9 ohms. So assuming if this 9 ohms will give you 200, when you make it put more turns and it showed 10 ohms or 11 ohms here, it will be double. Yeah, the voltage will increase. So remember, this stator here is unmodified. It is a factory winding. So this coil here, I have already modified it. They use 0.7 mm enamel copper. Then I use I reduce it so that I will put more turns. I reduce some fraction. They use 0.7 here. I use 0.6 mm here to enable me to increase the turns. So now, like I already started, make it clear, I believe this is the process which you can increase the voltage if your speed is constant. Assuming you have a 2500 rpm, maybe 3000 rpm, then your voltage, you want more voltage depending on the product, on your desire, maybe the project you want to use it to run. This is the basic way you can increase the speed, either by increasing the turns from the exciter, or increasing the coil from the mains, or increasing turns, put more turns on the lotto. By putting more turns here, the voltage you will generated will be more. Putting more turns in this lotto or armature, then the induced voltage will be stronger, and the electromagnetic will be stronger, which will increase the output voltage. Or you can do that by putting a higher value microfarad capacitor. Higher value microfarad capacitor. So now, this is modify stator. This is modify stator. So now, this yellow wire is exciter, the capacitor exciter. You can see. Remember, this unmodified stator gave me, I think, 8 ohms, but this one display 14. Okay, now let me read it from the mains. So the last time I used this statue, I generated almost I think 700 volts. So I quickly removed it because my meter maximum output on AC is 700. So to avoid damaging this my voltmeter, so the voltage is hog. So I find it somehow useless. So though I learned from it because it's one of my first modify statue. So and you have to, assuming if you want to have 220 volts from it, you have to operate it at low RPM, maybe something about 1500 or 2000 RPM. And maybe you depend on the value of capacitor you put on it. So the this coil is like times two of what the wind there, times two of the coil. Despite that they use 0.7 mm here and I use 0.6 here, I will do some fraction. So it's like I want two coils here. So the turns is hog, the multiplication is hog. From the exciter, when you put 24 UF, we have a drastic high voltage. So I put about I think 12 UF capacitor. So it gives me high voltage. So that is the main thing here. So the main thing is like I already displayed before, to increase the voltage if the speed is constant by adding more turns in the exciter or adding more turns in the mains coil output, or by putting more turns in the stator, I mean in the lotto, in the armature, putting more turns. Make sure, and when you are doing so, assuming you are putting more turns in this armature, make sure it is, you calculate it to avoid uh, the smash. So the reason why you have to make it to be equal is so that the strength of this side will be the same with the strength of this side. Because assuming you wind 20 tons here and wind 15 tons here, the strength of this, assuming this is north and this is south, the strength of this north will be more than the strength of the south here. Assuming this is north and this is south, so you wind 20 tons, wind 15 here, this one here will be have more strength than this side. So and the result will be, the output voltage will be fluctuating, it won't be stable. Despite the speed, it won't be stable. So you have to make sure that the strength, that the number of turns is the same. Assuming you choose to modify only here, you have to make sure that the turns is the same. If you wind here, when you are winding it, be counting it and avoid distraction. When you are winding it, counting it. So the any number you put on here, this side, put it here, so that the the magnetic strength will be the same. Failing to do so, it will be fluctuating because the strength, either the strength of this side past this side, or the strength of this side past this side. So you have to make sure that everything is calculated to enable good results output. So if we choose to modify this lotto, make sure that the turns are the same. Make sure that the turns are the same. If you choose to, make sure that the turns are the same. So like, I hope this help. I hope it help for those asking me how to modify, how to increase the turns, how to get more voltage. So this is the tips. This is tips. So I mentioned several ways you can increase the speed. So you are the one that we choose, the one you can do better, the one you understand better, the one you have more knowledge. So either by adding more value of the capacitor, or and when you add more value of capacitor, know that when you add more value, it will cause more drag, because once the electromagnetic is more stronger, it will enable to drag. So they have to make the adjustments accordingly. have to make the adjustment accordingly so that it will match what you are using it for. So don't over overestimate it, or don't over adding much tons here may cause more drag. Adding more tons here may result putting smaller value of capacitor, and when you put load it will be fluctuating, so everything have to be calculated. You have to make it accurate. Just add few tons, monitor it, then if it didn't give you much expected, then add other, because you know this is a electromagnetic, doing electromagnetic flux, other things. So it vary, 1 cent can vary it. So you have to be careful when you're doing so. So there is three ways more to increase the voltage: increasing the exciter, increasing from mains output tons, increasing tons of the lotto, or adding higher value of capacitor. This will enable you to increase the voltage output even though the speed is maintained. Thank you for watching. If you find this video interesting, kindly share. Then if you have any question, feel free to drop it on comment section. um, in comment video, I'm gonna uh, connect this tattoo and do some experiments on charging back. So kindly follow, comment, and if you have any uh, question, ask. If the one I can answer, I will. Thank you once again.